For centuries, a system we call feudalism has shaped life here. The very people who make the laws are the same ones who own the fields those laws are meant to protect. So, how did we get here? The story really begins with the British. When they took control of Sindh in the 1840s, they needed a way to rule the vast population. So they devised a system of indirect rule. They found the local tribal chiefs, granted them huge tracts of land and fancy titles, and made them the middlemen. These new landlords became the local kings. They collected taxes, kept the peace, and in return, the British gave them power. Then 1947 arrived. Pakistan was born. But while the flag changed, the power structure didn't. This well-established landed elite simply stepped into the new government. They swapped their colonial titles for political ones, ensuring their grip on power remained as firm as the soil they owned. And with that, a political legacy was cemented, one that continues to shape the destiny of millions today.
Feudal control in Sindh isn't just about owning land, it's about owning loyalty. In much of inner Sindh, the landlord acts as a political patron, providing loans, protection, and even justice. In return, entire villages vote for the same person over and over again.
किसी पार्टी से ताल्लुकात नहीं है, हमारा ताल्लुकात है तो सिर्फ शिराजू से है, जो हमारे दुख सुख में काम आ जाते हैं. जो शिराजू ने किया है वो शायद ये तो पाकिस्तान में पहला नंबर है.
This system is known as clientelist politics, where relationships, not policies, determine power. Political dynasties such as the Bhuttos of Larkana, the Talpurs of Hyderabad, and the Janejos of Sangar, to name a few, show how landed families evolved into political dynasties. They control local administrations, influence police postings, and dominate party postings. As a result, elections become contests between elite families, not about ideologies. The same names return to the ballot every few years, sometimes changing parties to maintain power.
PMLQ का वोट नहीं है यहाँ पर सिर्फ हम तो खड़े हैं मगर एक भी इनका वोट नहीं है. वोट हमारा अपनी शख्सियत का है. 300 गाँव को हमने बिजली दी, कम से कम 1500-1600 रोड्स जो रोड हैं किलोमीटर्स 1500-1600 किलोमीटर्स हमने रोड दिए.
Even progressive parties such as the Pakistan People's Party, founded by a landowner like Zulfikar Ali Bhutto on the basis of uplifting the poor, relies on this feudal system for votes. It's a sort of paradox. The People's Party relies on the vote of zamindars, not the people. Thus, Sindh's democracy often functions as a democracy in name only, where the faces change but the class in power does not.
Feudalism is the backbone of Sindh's political power, then land reforms were meant to break it, but every attempt failed. It is not because of bad policy, but because of the people who were supposed to enforce these reforms were the people who stood to lose from it. Pakistan's first real land reforms came under Ayub Khan in 1959. He set land ceilings, 500 for irrigated land and 1,000 for unirrigated land to curb elite dominance. But the landlords were deeply embedded in political system, so they found a way to avoid this law somehow. Some divided this land among the relatives, and some some used political connections to avoid this law. According to a 1972 report, around 90% of the landowners avoided this law. Instead of dismantling feudal power, Ayub's reforms quietly reinforced it. Then came Zulfikar Ali Bhutto with his promise of land to the theatre.
जिनके तरफ कहीं तवज्जो न ॾिनो, जिनके तरक्की जे तरफ कहीं तवज्जो न ॾिनो, खुशहाली जे तरफ कहीं तवज्जो न ॾिनो, अवां पहिरियों भेरो हिननि जे तरफ तवज्जो ॾिनो.
Bhutto lowered land ceilings to 150 acres irrigated and 300 acres unirrigated land. This created real hope among the farmers, but he himself faced a political dilemma. His own power depended on the same feudal families who controlled the rural votes. Enforcement remained weak. Around 1.5% of the total land was redistributed. When Ziaul Haq took over in 1977, Bhutto's reforms were repealed. He allied with feudal elites, but by 1989, Federal Sharia declared land ceiling as un-Islamic, thus cementing the power of feudal leaders. So feudalism was then legally and politically protected. Every attempt to dismantle feudalism, whether it was political, religious or military, ended up reinforcing it. Feudalism survived adapted, and captured the political system itself. Thus, when reforms failed, power didn't disappear itself, it just simply moves deeper into the system.
The collapse of land reforms have cemented dynastic rule across Sindh. Today, the most political power lies within the hands of the people who have dominated the province for years.
या कोई भी बंदा अगर बीमार पड़ता है तो डॉक्टर आने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। रास्ता रोड की किल्लत की वजह से तकलीफ होती है, यहाँ से जाना पड़ता है, गुज्जो या छठो जाना पड़ता है तो मरीज की हालत ख़राब हो जाती है। डिलीवरी में औरतें जो है वो फौत हो जाती हैं। अस्पताल में जाने के बाद वहाँ तो कोई जब पर्ची निकालते हैं डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं तो डॉक्टर कहते हैं दवाई बाहर से ले आओ।
शाम के बाद तो कोई घर से निकलने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। अगर कोई निकलता है, किसी से मोटरसाइकिल छीन गई, पैसे छीन गए, मोबाइल छीन गई, पुलिस के पास जाएं, पुलिस बोलती है हम एफआईआर नहीं काटती। हमें ऊपर से आर्डर है किसी के ऊपर एफआईआर नहीं काटो।
Control over the land translates into control over state apparatus. Police officials, revenue officials, and bureaucrats are mostly appointed at the recommendation of local landlords. This blurs the line between public authority and private influence. A 2020 report by the Pakistan Institute of Development Economics terms it as elite capture of governance. Instead of serving the citizens, it serves the narrow class of elites. Even progressive laws like the Sindh NNC Act of 1950 are rarely enforced. Administrators often report to the same land owners who they are assigned to regulate. The result is structural stagnation. The policy never changes because the power to change it lies within those who benefit from the status quo.
On paper, Pakistan is a democracy, but in reality, feudal politics has turned democracy into inheritance. Seats transfer from fathers to son, from husbands to widows, and from uncles to nephews, discouraging accountability and weakening new leadership. This also explains why there are issues such as issues of education, governance, and justice that still prevail in these areas. Feudal politicians focus on controlling people rather than empowering them. Pakistan's democracy works with feudalism rather than working against it. However, change is possible if implemented with courage and consistency, and hence, we propose 3 reforms. Number 1 is introducing genuine land reforms. Enforcing modern land ceilings using digital land records can help to stop manipulation and hidden ownership. Number 2 is strengthening local democracy. By empowering local governments with funds and autonomy, we can help reduce people's dependency on landlords. And number 3 is ensuring political transparency. By enforcing full disclosure of all assets and land holdings and reforming internal party election processes, by introducing external oversight and fair nomination rules, we can prevent dynastic monopolies.